What's up, everyone? On today's video, we're going over the top 7 things you need to know before moving to Keansburg, New Jersey. We're going to cover a couple different topics like the location, commute to work, and a few others. But before we get started, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you want to be the first one to know what's going on in your Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. The very first thing we're going to cover is the location. And as you can see, Keansburg is going to be located in the northern part of Monmouth County, borders a couple different towns like Hazlet, Middletown, and Union Beach. With Keansburg, you're going to have 16 square miles that make up the town, but only one square mile is going to be actually made up of land, whereas the other 15 are going to be made up of the waterways around it. There's only one major roadway that goes through Keansburg, and that's going to be Route 36, but Route 35 and the Garden State Parkway are very close nearby, and that's going to be over in Hazlet, which again is the next town over. If you're lucky, especially on a nice beach day, you can head over to Keansburg Beach and then enjoy the nice view of the New York City skyline as long as the weather's clear out there. So catch a little bit of sun, nice view, decent area to be. The second thing you'll need to know is your commute to work. Now, a lot of people that live here in Monmouth County are also going to work in one of the two major cities that we have close by, and that's going to be the New York City or Philadelphia. Now, with Keansburg being in the more northern part of Monmouth, it's obviously going to be a little bit easier to get into New York City. So there's 4 main ways to do so. You could drive yourself, take the bus, take the train, or take the ferry. When it comes to driving yourself, the easiest route in my opinion will be taking Route 36 to 35, and then to the Garden State Parkway and taking that up north. The Garden State Parkway is going to be a toll road, while the other two are going to be non-toll roads. That'll run you about an hour 20, hour and a half, probably at the absolute most, and that's accounting for a little bit of rush hour traffic too. Now, taking the bus is pretty much going to be running you about the same, hour and 10, hour 15, hour 20, somewhere in that range. But that's going to be through an Academy bus, not going to be through NJ Transit. NJ Transit is typically the more popular public transportation that we use here in New Jersey, but Academy is just as good too. When it comes to taking the train, you have 2 different options that you could possibly go to. The first one's either going to be in Hazlet, or the other one's going to be in Middletown. They're roughly about the same distance apart from each other, kind of depending on where you are in Keansburg. So Hazlet's just one more stop ahead, so maybe you go there, just kind of skip one, or if you're a little bit closer to the Middletown exit, just take that one as well. That's also going to run you, shocking, about an hour 20, give or take, maybe an hour and a half at the most. The last option is going to be taking the ferry. This is actually going to be your quickest one. There's a port over in Belford, which is about 1 town over. It's kind of a part of Middletown from Keansburg, so it's 1 town. And if you want to get into Wall Street, for instance, that's only going to be about a 45-minute ride over. So obviously going to be your faster one out of all of them, even with taking the time to commute over to the port. So depending on which one you want to use, if you need your car, you don't mind public transportation, the ferry will be a little bit more expensive, so while you do save time, it's going to be the most expensive of the 3 public transportations. The third point you'll need to know is going to be the school districts. Now, according to niche.com, the Keansburg School District is going to be rated a C+, houses about 1,600 students, and has a 17-to-1 student-teacher ratio. There's going to be 3 schools throughout the district, including 1 elementary, 1 middle, and 1 high school. Now, with the C+, it's actually going to be a little bit lower of a score for Monmouth County. It's a highly desirable area. It has good school systems. So again, using niche.com as an example, there's going to be 13 different school districts that are rated an A- or higher. So just kind of give you an idea of where Keansburg might stand. It's going to be on more lower tier for school districts throughout the county. The fourth thing you'll need to know is going to be the housing options. Now, I like to break them down into 3 major categories. You'll have your adult communities, condos and townhomes, and single families. When it comes to adult communities, there's none that I'm aware of that's going to be located in Keansburg, so we're just going to move on to the condos. With those, you're going to have roughly between about $200,000 to $300,000 based off the sales of the past year. A couple different communities, at least the ones I've seen recently, they're all going to be between 1 and 2 bedrooms. So nothing on the crazy large side, but also enough maybe if you're looking for a second home, want to be closer to the water, that kind of thing. So, and on top of that, it's actually pretty affordable considering where it's located near the water, and not some other Jersey Shore towns like Belmar, Asbury. You'll be paying an arm and a leg just to kind of get the same thing. Now, on the single family side of things, prices can vary pretty heavily over in Keansburg. The highest sales price over the last 12 months was $760,000, whereas a more typical standard home for that area, you're looking at maybe a 2 or 3 bed, 1 to 2 baths in that $250,000 to $400,000 range, just kind of depending on the size of it at that point. Also, you have to play into account how close it is to the water. Is there a waterfront view? Something along those lines. Maybe the general age of the home. Sometimes Keansburg, it's an older area, so sometimes the homes can be a little bit smaller. The bedrooms are smaller, so a couple of things, different things you have to take into account while moving over there. But the average median sales price for Keansburg is going to be about $350,000, whereas close to for Monmouth, that same number is going to be in the $665,000 range. So kind of a dramatic drop off. But if you're looking to get into Monmouth County on the cheaper side, Keansburg is definitely your best option. Point number 5 are going to be shopping and dining options available to you. Now, it's not going to be a ton in Keansburg. You're going to have to go a little bit outside of there. So Route 36 and Route 35 are going to be your best options for this, bar none. Route 35, if you go a little bit into Hazlitt, you're going to have different food stores from Shop and Stop to ShopRite. You'll have Home Depot, Lowe's over there. If you go into Middletown, there's going to be a Target, another ShopRite, and a couple different other ones. So Route 35 and Route 36 are definitely going to be your main things or main options when you come to shopping. On the dining side of things, it's going to be very similar to the shopping. You're going to want to go a little bit outside of Keansburg for a more elevated experience. I would recommend heading over to Keyport. This actually has a couple different spots over there, one being the Keyport Fishery. A lot of people, it's very fresh. A lot of people will drive for miles just for this food. It's very old school though. It's cash only. You can't make any substitutions on your meal. They cook it one way, and this is basically how you get it. So it's a little bit old school in that aspect, but from what I hear, my parents go there pretty often. They enjoy it. They really like it. I don't like my seafood fried personally, so I don't go there, but a lot of people do. It's a nice spot to head over to. Also in Keyport, it's going to be McDonald's Pub. This is going to be a traditional American bar style meal or menu. You're going to have burgers, pizza, different type of diverse appetizers and that kind of thing there. So go a little bit outside of Keansburg, explore a little bit, and you're going to find some really good restaurants around the area. Point number 6 is going to be different entertainment options in and around Keansburg. I've already mentioned it a little bit earlier in the video, but you're going to have the beach. So if you just want to get a little bit of a tan, head on over there. But the largest attraction by far is going to be the Waterpark and Amusement Park that they have there in Keansburg. It's not going to be on the same size or level as Six Flags Great Adventure down in Jackson when they have their amusement park, the Hurricane Harbor and Safari, but it's going to get the job done, especially in this part of Monmouth County where there isn't anything along those lines. If you want looking for something a little bit different, head on over to the Henry Hudson Trail. You can go there and go for a nice hike, bike ride, something along those lines. Or if you're a music buff and you want to go to a concert, check out PNC Banks Art Center. That's down the Garden State Parkway, a little farther south, located over in Helmdale. They have a lot of big names there for pretty much 5 to 6 months out of the year. Point number 7 is going to be different weather that we have here in New Jersey and obviously Keansburg as well. So with this, we have plenty of storms that hit. Our winters can get pretty cold, sub-zero temperatures, and our summers can get pretty hot where we're hitting the triple digits. We actually just got over a big heat wave that we had for about like 6 weeks here in New Jersey that lasted from June into basically the end of July. And I'm pretty happy it's over, at least myself personally. So, but with that, storms are also a big issue, and with Keansburg being a low elevation, flooding can potentially happen. With Superstorm Sandy, that was a hurricane that we had here about 11, maybe 12 years ago at this point. It's been a while at least, so thankfully for that. And Keansburg did get hit pretty hard with this. Flooding did come up pretty far into the city, even inland over there. And a lot of houses, either people lost them or whatever the case was, had to do pretty major construction. So that's when you see places that you're like, oh, it's $75,000, what's wrong with it? It probably needs to be a rebuild, raised up and everything like that. So anytime you see new development, typically in Keansburg, you're going to notice that there's a garage underneath the home and a base level. That's pretty much going to be the code for doing any construction over there anymore, just because of the storms in the past of it. And Superstorm Sandy wasn't even the first one this happened to. I think there was another one back in the 80s or 70s that also did it. So Keansburg's on a big redevelopment project because of this, and it's been pretty good over the last decade or so. And then kind of just one more thing to add on to the weather section is when living in Keansburg, you're going to need flood insurance. If you are getting a mortgage on your home, they're going to require it. So this is going to be a separate policy from your typical homeowner's insurance. So you'll have homeowners, but then on top of that, you also have a flood policy. Not every carrier here in New Jersey is going to write flood policies. So just make sure you have a insurance guy that probably can broker things out. They work with different companies and not just one. This way you can get the best price on it. Most times with typical residences, you're probably looking at $100 a month, maybe up to $200 a month at the absolute most. Again, it's going to vary depending on the elevation and all that kind of stuff, but that's typically the average that we see, anywhere between about $100 to $200 a month, but it's an added expense that you have to take on as a homeowner. Overall, Keansburg's in mostly a redevelopment project right now. I think the town spent quite a bit of money on doing so. They even just built a luxury apartments that overlook the water and the amusement park over there. So they're not necessarily all the way there just yet, in my opinion. Obviously, you can kind of tell, and it reflects the price point, right? You're looking at $350,000 versus $650,000, let's just say, for the rest of Monmouth County. So just not quite there yet, but it's heading in the right direction. So with that being said, if you're looking to move, buying, or selling in the Keansburg area, or maybe an investor looking to make a little bit of extra money, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is down low in the comments and description. So whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. And if you're looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, feel free to check out 2 videos popping up in. Hopefully help you out a little bit too. Have a great day.